welcome to Jim's Garage Toys. Today is finally come and I am going to be installing or swapping out my parking brake cables on my 2009 Corolla S Turbo. So recently I did a drum brake to disc brake conversion on the rear brakes, and so the parking brake cables are different between drum and disc. So I've had the conversion done, and today I'm actually going to be swapping out the cables. So going up to a buddy's of mine, that an old neighbor, and he has a lift, and so we're going to use the lift to get this done. I was trying to do it before, but having a lift in this case is going to be a lot easier to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It'll give us the room to be able to maneuver and get the cables pulled out, the old ones pulled out, and the new ones put in. So that is the project for today, and we will go ahead and get started as soon as I get up there. So away we go. So here you can see the old drum brake parking cable, and it runs up and under, and it goes right here and wraps around. So you got to take off these shields, and they go up. There it is, right there. You can actually see it right there. So you got to take your shields off, drop your exhaust, and then you'll be able to get to it. So the other end connects right up under here. So once we get all this stuff off, we'll be able to see it better. Hey, so I had to do one extra step that a lot of you might not have to. So I have a 2-point rear chassis bar right here, and I loosened the 17mm bolts that are in there just to pivot it. And by pivoting it, it allowed me to drop the exhaust by removing the exhaust rubber hangers, popping those off. And now from this angle, you can see how the exhaust is hanging down. Another thing that I'm dealing with is I've got a 3-inch exhaust because of my turbo build. So I did loosen this one slip joint right there, and that allowed me to pull this back a little bit more. And after removing the 10mm bolts on this rear shield, I was able to slide it over enough. And now you can see the entire parking brake cable and right where they bolt into and go inside the car. So it's just a matter of now removing the 10mm bolts there and rerouting them through the clip here. You can see there's a 10mm bolt here that holds it in, and it winds around to this one right there, and then back to the caliper. So proceed from here. Okay, so inside, you're going to need to remove the center console portion, the lower portion, just to be able to get to the connections for the parking brake handle here. So that involves taking off the lower trim pieces right here, and they just unsnap. Use a interior trim tool like this to do that. Unscrew your shift knob, and then this will unsnap and come out. And there are two in the bottom of your center console. There are two 10mm bolts you have to undo, and that is it. Everything else should come out just by lifting. You can see I've got the play in this now, so I should be able to get that out and have access to the cables, which I'll show you in just a minute. So right down here, there are two Phillips head screws that you have to loosen also to have this be able to pull out. It holds the front section to the center console. So once you do that, so you got two screws there, you got two 10mm bolts in here, and that's really all that holds that in. So everything else just slides over and under things. Okay, so I was able to just pivot and tilt the center console, as you can see, up and away. So now we have our e-brake, and so the connectors that I need are below this. So this, there are two 12mm bolts, sorry, there and there, and there's those. So And that, when I pulled this off, I didn't know what I was seeing. I was hoping to see what I needed to see, but it is underneath this. That's it, I think, right there. So looking at this, I've got one more bolt there, and there's one on that side. If you peel the carpet back a little bit, there's one there. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen those and see if this piece right here comes up and we have access to underneath that. So back to underneath the car. So now everything is freed up here. So there's a small 10mm bolt that holds those in. So this goes over. There's a small plastic clip right here that just pivots and you can unsnap the cable from it. And then there is another bracket that goes right there. And basically just follow it along and you'll see all the brackets. Most of them are 10mm bolts, and loosen everything. So this is completely loose now and ready to be pulled out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out, make the disconnection inside the car under the center console, and then feed the new ones back up through and reconnect them, and then make all these connections back, and we should be in business. So here's with the parts disconnected, and so what they do is they slide. You can see the opening there, and they just pop in from the bottom and then pull through. So what we're doing now is I'm in the car. This really helps with a second person. My friend Ryan is down below, so he is going to pass through the new ones, and the new ones are specific to right or left, so make sure that you do that properly, or you'll be back swapping them back out before you can continue with the install. So we will. So here it comes. Okay, so there's the right one. Perfect. Okay. So that was so easy to do. It was scary coming back up. It's just getting all the junk out of the way. Once you get everything out of the way, that's not bad. In fact, here's the nuts that are welded in for the two 10mm bolts. Here's the other one. So, okay, I've got to put that down. I need two hands. But you literally just put it underneath that. There you go. You literally put it underneath and snap in from the bottom, and there's the two pieces. So simple. And it'll be very obvious to how that is when you're looking at this piece right here. So now we're done with inside the car, other than putting this all back together. But I'll wait to put it back together until we're completely secured underneath. So left off on the inside where we had made the attachments. So now both parking brake cables are attached here with the 10mm bolts done. I've got this passenger side one attached now, so clipped it in here. There is a swing around here. See the new bracket, so 10mm bolt there. There's another one right here. And then this loops up and over the rear axle. And then right here, you can see the new bracket. And there's also, you do need to move the black clip right here for the speed sensor wire. So unclip it from the old bracket and snap it into this new one, and then reattach it. And then it just goes up to the caliper. There you go. So the passenger side is completely installed. And now, got this nice hanging driver's side one. So we will do the same thing here and just make all the attachment points. So the driver's side now is all attached, all buttoned up. All the bolts are connected. So the cable, you can see it running right there, is, oh, still got to do the clip. So I just sell it right there. As you can see the clip, I got to snap that in. But other than that, those are ready to go. And then I just have to reattach the heat shield there and put the bracket back on my exhaust there and slip the hangers back on. So that'll literally take a few minutes. So go ahead and work on that next. So slipping the heat shields back on. There's just 10 millimeter nuts that hold those on. So, and then we've rotated this back into its position. It will sit just like that. And that will be, yeah, that'll be 10 millimeter. Okay, this is all wrapped up now. So here's the other shield that I showed at the beginning that we had to take off. So you need to remove that. You can see how the parking brake cable snakes from underneath it. But it's only 4 10 millimeter bolts. It comes right off. If you drop the suspension a little bit, it will give you enough room. You don't have to remove it. And a stock suspension may even be easier because the pipe's so much smaller. So, but not difficult at all underneath the car. No special tools are needed. And then just by hand, you're able to stretch the parking brake and put it through the clip, and you're in business. So, just finished reinstalling the center console. So this piece has to be snapped in and out. This piece will snap in and out, and you have to take off the 2 strips here. Then the 2 screws are behind there that I showed you. So, and then this thing lifts right out. The only other thing holding the center console in are these 2 10 millimeter bolts. So I just have to tighten those down, and then this will be a job completed. So, yeah, and already tested it. It feels really good. So I have my parking brake back, and definitely not a difficult job. If you've got a second set of hands, it will help, but definitely not a difficult job. Just take your time. Just takes a little bit of time to get done, but pretty easy. So we'll start giving it a test in the real world, and we'll go from there. So thanks for joining me. So this is the final result. Here are the old cables for the drum brakes. Got the new disc brake ones all installed now. Was not a very difficult installation, but having the lift was a big help. So a major shout out to my buddy Ryan for having me come up and be able to use his lift, and for giving me a little helping hand here and there. So when we're passing through, this is the part right here that, and they're labeled left and right, luckily. But this is the part that goes through and attaches to underneath the center console. But real simple to do, but having a second set of hands was a big benefit. He was able to pass the bottom of the cable up through the hole, and I was able to loop this onto the where it attaches into after I removed the center console. So not terribly difficult. There were multiple things, and I showed these in the video, but you know, to unbolts for all the clips, and but a very simple install. Everything being said and done. So I appreciate everybody looking. I hope this helps. This will apply to either doing the swap like I did, or if you even had to just change out the brake cables because they were stretched or seized or whatever. So this could apply to anything like that. But I appreciate you watching. Hope it helps. Please hit like and subscribe and help me out that way. And until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks.